Welcome to the Life to the Fullest podcast. I'm your host, Dan Jason. This is the EF3 Life platform, and we are going into 2024. It's a new year. We have energy, we have enthusiasm, and it's a fresh start. I hope that you are enjoying the ride. Thanks for all those who are tuning in around the country, around the globe. 2023 was certainly a year to remember, and now we're moving forward and into 2024. During this year, I want to talk a lot about many different facets of this platform, including education, faith, fitness, finance, relationships, and the journey of which you share with us this great movement and momentum. And now that we're in this new year, we're talking about turning up the heat. Yes, you have to turn up the heat in your life. You have to raise the temperature in order to achieve success. My hope is that you took a little bit of time to reflect, to look back upon the successes, the gains, the momentum, what ways that you were able to win in the past year. 365 days ahead of us now. What are we going to do? How are we going to use our time? And what is the way that we're going to continue to advance and build winning systems in our life? As I looked upon the breadth of life and just all the things that have been taking place in my own journey, and then talking to so many influential people throughout the course of the last year, it really dawned on me that there is one thing that comes to full mindset and growth model, and that is turning up the heat. Oftentimes in our own life, we can freeze ourselves out of success, out of growth, out of prosperity, out of advancement, and it's disheartening to see people who don't actually max out their life and achieve the best level that they can at this point in the journey right here, right now. Because we're never settling, okay? We're always trying to grow. We're always trying to gain that momentum and build upon the wins that we've had in the past to elevate other people. And that's what I want to talk about today, is when we turn up the heat, when we crank it up a little bit, even 1 degree, things tend to change. I want you to think about this for a moment, because a lot of you probably were sipping on some eggnog, some delicious beverages, maybe some enjoyable cocktails over the past couple of weeks during the holiday season. And one of the things that you put in there is probably ice. And it is so evident that if you put ice in a glass and you raise the temperature in the room, people are around, it's sitting out there, it's going to melt. And what happens in our life when we raise the temperature just a little bit, it is exceptional. The amount of just increase, the levels that we're able to get to when we raise the degree just a little bit and we turn up the heat and we actually increase the intensity, it can be exponential, and the compound interest in our own life and our own personal journey will just blow it out of the water. I want you to think about this in different facets of your life, but to have that 1 degree approach. Okay, The Power of More, a great book by Ed Mylett, inspiring, encouraging, motivational speaker. His show, actually one of the biggest and greatest that there is in the podcast space. And my hope is that you tune into his show, that you listen to it, because this guy is enthusiastic. He's energetic, but he gives you tangible takeaways. One thing that I learned from him, if you're in order to max out your life, you have to do things with a little bit more intentionality, and you have to go the extra mile. And the extra mile only happens when you go an extra inch today, an extra foot tomorrow, an extra yard next week. And before you know it, you are able to monumentally move the chains in your life, because they all add up, okay? There is no overnight success. As much as some people wish that it could happen, that's not going to take place. One night, though, you will see that breakthrough. Just like you put ice out on the counter, okay, in a glass. Maybe you pour a liquid beverage in it, and that beverage obviously is a little bit warmer than the ice cube's temperature itself, and it starts to melt. It starts to dissolve. Well, if we crank up the heat in our own life, we're able to turn up the intensity just a little bit, even 1 degree, we're going to see gains take place. But what about 2 degrees or 3 degrees? What about in the areas of our education? What about reading 1 or 2 or 3 more books over the course of the next 12 months? What about in our fitness and getting into the gym? And instead of going and working out 3 days a week, maybe we increase this 4 or 5 or maybe even 6. Instead of doing 1 workout a day, maybe we're doing 2. Maybe we're doing weight training. Maybe we're going out and doing something cardiovascular. We're getting out there for a run, a bike, a swim. See, there's so many ways you can increase the intensity of your life. And if you do that, just like when you're in the gym, just like if you're pushing weights, just like if you're running out there and it's really hot, you're going to sweat. And the beauty of sweat equity is that nobody can take away the hard work that you put in. Nobody can, spell out something better than hard work, because it's the only thing that will make things happen. You have to be somebody who is motivated, somebody who is going to find it every single day. And even on the days where you don't want to, you still raise the temperature another degree. Why? Because you want to be better and you want it so badly that you won't let your life cool off. What happens? We all set goals. Well, maybe not all of us, most people will. They'll set New Year's resolutions. The first month, you'll see gyms that are packed. People are going out there and they're working hard and they're, increasing their physical fitness, their health. They're being more intentional about how they're eating. They might start a new diet plan. Okay, they might have financial goals and they're being disciplined with their finances and their cash flow is looking really good. And maybe even they're sticking to their budget. But then what happens? February rolls around, March, April, and a third of the people fall off the train. And then you get to the mid-year point and half or more are off. And by the end of the year, you yourself might be thinking, wow, I'm looking back at my goals and at my aspirations of the things that I really set. And I tried to raise the standard, but I fell off track. So how do we stay on track? How do we make sure that we're not going to subside to the average, to the norm, to slide back into our old habits and sabotage our life? Well, it's pretty easy. One day at a time, one moment at a time. Okay, right here, right now. See, no matter what you're doing at this very moment, if you give it your full effort, if you max it out, and then you raise the level of expectation in your own mind, then eventually tomorrow when you get there and you're doing the same task, you're going to up it again. Because if you don't, what happens is you plateau and then eventually you slide back downwards. Now, what about, again, in our finances? What if we were a little bit more disciplined this year? We said, I'm going to save 1% more. I'm going to spend 1% less. I'm going to invest 1% more. You'd see some gains. What about 5% more, 10% more? See, a lot of people out there are not intentional about how they're utilizing their greatest wealth building tool, and that is their income. What are they doing with the hard-earned money that they make every single week? Maybe they get paid on a bi-weekly basis. But are they being intentional about it? Are they putting it forward so that way they could do great things in their life? They could achieve the goals that they want. They can go on the vacations. They can buy those things that they actually truly value. They can also have time. And they can invest in their future so that way they don't have to work forever, but they can take their time back and they can enjoy these moments with the people that they love the most. 2024 is a year of abundance, is a year of increase, but you're not going to get there unless you decide, I'm going to do it, and it starts today. It starts with one intentional act at a time, and it starts with raising the temperature. Turn up the heat. Maybe you're a 73-degree person. Maybe you're a 74-degree person. See, average, nothing good happens in the average. Nothing good is taking place, in the meandering of life where it's just moderate. The good happens when you raise the temperature. The great happens when you really crank up the heat and you don't allow life to cool you off, because there are going to be so many things that are going to come your way in 2024 that are going to want to give you an excuse to turn down the heat. I got an injury. Now I can't work out. No, you can do different types of workouts. You can work out the other parts of your body. Okay? I got laid off from my job. Well, that doesn't mean you're going to sit around and feeling sorry for yourself. You're going to go out there and maybe it's a setup for something that's even better that you didn't expect, but you have to chase it down. Maybe something blindsided you, like a health issue. But how are you going to have a positive attitude to overcome that and to deal with it to the best of your ability? Because 2024, there's going to be great things that take place if you make it happen. There's also going to be things that try to cool down your life. Just like the ice cube. There's going to be things that try to melt it. You've got to raise the temperature, right? You got to raise the temperature, because if you don't, and your life cools off, you'll go back to where you were, which was that comfortability zone. Think about, in your house right now. If you're living in the Northeast and it's the dead of winter, even though there has been global warming, yes, but you got to think about the things that are taking place around you, because here is the facts, folks. You will subside back to that 70 degree, 72 degree temperature because it's comfortable, because you're used to it, because it helps you to just be. My hope is that in 2024, you say, no, I'm actually going to go out of the comfort zone. I'm actually going to put in the sweat equity. I'm going to build something great. I'm going to start out that small business and I'm going to gain momentum. Now, I've thought about it over the past year and enough time thinking, and I planned it out. Now it's time to do. See, actions are always going to speak louder than words. When you move the momentum meter in your life, it's because you are taking massive action. You are deciding, I'm going to do something. And when you do something, something great can happen. But if you sit on the sidelines, if you keep thinking about it, if you keep hoping for it, keep wishing, nothing is going to take place. Raise the temperature, crank it up in your life. Think about the people that you're hanging around. 2024, I want you to be more intentional about the people that you're hanging around. And then when you're hanging around those people, what are you doing? What are you finding yourself doing? Because 72 degree people are going to be hanging around 72 degrees. People who are 45 degree people are going to be hanging around 45 degrees. People who are 90 degree people are going to attract 90, 92, 93 degree heat. And if you're around people who are cranking up the heat, your temperature is going to have to raise as well. You're going to have to up the level in your life. You're going to have to increase the intensity. You're going to have to increase the intentionality. Why? Because you can't be around people and not do what is likewise. Many times we heard this in the past. You are the composite of the 3 or 4 or 5 people that you hang around the most. We're going to become the net average of those that we're spending the most time with. So if there's one thing that you could do, is to take a look and account of your life, of who you're hanging around and what activities you're doing when you're around those people. And if it is benefiting you, if it is for the good, if it's cranking up the heat, if it's helping you to move in a positive direction, then continue to do so. If not, you got to cut it off. You got to cut ties with it. Because otherwise your life is going to cool down. And before you know it, 6 months will go by and you'll wonder, how am I at the same place that I was at the turn of the year? The calendar page is turning. But nobody said that you had to turn up the heat. That is a choice. That is your choice to make. And if you make it, if you decide, I'm going to raise the level in my life, I'm going to turn up the heat, I'm going to crank up the volume, I'm going to infuse my own pump up music in my life right now and build an anthem and have a motto that says, I can do hard things. I can accomplish anything that I put my mind to. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to achieve it. I'm going to be great. I'm going to build a winning system. If you believe in yourself, great things are going to happen. You take massive action, you will see it take place. But it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes time, but you have to start with one step. Do the next right thing. Do the best that you can today. Are you going to be perfect? No. Is everything going to go your way? Absolutely not. Are you going to be happy with the progress that you make at every phase of the game? Probably not. But I'm willing to bet over the duration of the marathon, which is the year, 365 days, when you look back, I bet you, if you set super clear standards for your life, if you have intentional goals, and not only what you want to accomplish, but how you're going to get there and why you desire it, you will achieve those things. And then if you take it to the next level, you really turn up the heat, you dial in. And by dialing in, I mean you seek out people who have the wisdom, who have the experience, who have the knowledge, who have been there, who have done that, who have learned, who are willing to teach you, to train you, to elevate you. Then you'll get to the next level. And eventually, someday, yes, you might be one of those people, but maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're not the mentor, but you're the mentee. Maybe you're not the teacher, but you're the one who is to become learned. You're the one who's the student. And you're trying your best to absorb all this information, to soak it all in, because you desire to do something great in 2024. There is greatness inside of you, but greatness begets greatness. And if you're hanging around it, you will find yourself being more attracted to those things that are trying to elevate you versus those things that are taking life away from you, that are sucking you out of the things that doesn't even matter, that are distracting you from really your ultimate course and where your life is trying to go. Where is your life trying to go? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? What is your mission field? What are you passionate about? That's my question to you. How do you want to get there? Because if you do want to get there, you will find a way. Instead of making excuses, instead of pointing the finger and placing blame, take accountability and take massive action. That is the heat. See, a lot of people don't want to sit in an interview and be in the hot seat. They don't want to actually have to be authentic, to share the truth. They don't want to face the facts in their life. But if you look at yourself in the mirror right now and you say, hey, this is the new dawn of 2024. What has happened in 2023, good, bad, or indifferent, it was. Hopefully there was good momentum you can build upon and enter into 2024 with. But if you didn't, it's okay because you get a fresh start. You get a clean slate. You get a new beginning, and now is your time to shine. This is your opportunity. And you don't get opportunities every single moment, but this is the chance that you have. It's just like a new season. When you think about sports, the beauty of it. When the NFL kicked off in September, every single team had the opportunity of winning the Super Bowl. They all had aspirations. They all worked hard at training camp. Some, though, worked harder. Some were more prepared. Some were more equipped. And then some decided to execute the plan and stay disciplined into the course. And even when potholes come your way and you have to meander around them, you have to maneuver over things, you have to go through obstacles, you have to break through barriers, you don't give up. Why? Because it will be worth it. Trust me. Trust me. If there's one thing that I've learned about this journey of life, it is that it is worth it. Nobody can take it away from you, but you must turn up the heat. Turn up the heat and get uncomfortable. Start sweating more. That's why I love working out. Because when you're in the grind, when you're waking up early in the morning, when you discipline and train yourself to be hard, then when life throws toughness at you, you could be harder. You can overcome it. See, if you don't understand sweat equity, you don't understand the hard work ethic, then you're not going to know what it's like to be a champion, to be a winner, to be able to get up there and raise yourself to be on the top of the podium in your own life. But how are you separating yourself from your former self? Turn up the heat. Don't cool off. Cooling off is honestly for losers. Cooling off is saying, hey, I'm waving the white flag and I'm surrendering and I'm not going to be able to do it anymore. And that's sad. When you get to that point, man, I don't know what you're doing with your life. But instead, you have the opportunity, okay? Right here, right now. Understand that no matter where you're at in the journey, take the next best step. So some tangible takeaways to turn up the heat. Number one, evaluate your life and what you look at last year. The things that might be the pitfalls, the things that might, throw you off course, those things that you're battling or struggling with that might be difficult, and address them. Crank up the heat. Tighten up the loose ends. Look at the people that you're hanging around as number two. Who are you spending the most time with? Who are you deciding to invest in and who is investing in you? How are they elevating you? Or if they're not, it might be time to cut ties. Maybe a little bit more slowly because you don't want to do it just like that. But here's the thing. You cannot be wasting time. Number three, look at your areas of education, faith, fitness, finance. How are you cranking up the heat? How are you getting out of your comfort zone? How are you trying new things to heighten your ability to win in those areas? What books are you reading to learn? Okay, how are you deciding to increase your prayer time, your reflective nature, to increase your gratitude? What are you doing in order to quiet yourself in your life and rid yourself of distractions from time to time so that way you can center yourself and really find the meaningful parts of life that comes from within, right? From God. What are you doing to be really intentional about the ways that not only you make money, but you invest money, how you're spending it, where you're putting it, and the way that it's going to grow for your future? And then, of course, your fitness. What are you doing to push yourself to become a better version and to be more fit, to be more healthy? Because health is our wealth. What are you doing to eat more clean and to respect yourself and your body? Lastly, relationships. What are you doing in order to invest beautiful moments, time, being present with other people, building opportunities and experiences that you can look forward to, and you can evoke a sense of community amongst your family, your friends, and those people that you love the most. That is what it means to turn up the heat. Don't let your life cool down. Instead, stay the course. Understand that 2024 is going to be the best year of your life. It's going to be abundant. It's going to be a blessing, but you cannot have this mentality and mindset that you're limited. Instead, you have to say, I'm limitless. Instead, you have to say, I'm waking up today and I'm going to win the day, one day at a time. See, tomorrow isn't here yet. Yesterday is gone. You can't perseverate on it. You can learn from it. You could grow from it. You could become better and not make the same mistakes again. Tomorrow isn't here yet. So yes, you want things to look forward to, but don't look too far into the future. Win the day. Because if you win the day over and over and over, you're moving the chains. The chains continue to move. By the end of the year, you'll see massive growth. You'll see exponential gains. You'll see tremendous abilities to raise yourself and those around you. Because that's what leadership is. We have to lead yourself in the right manner first. My hope is that you gain something positive today from this podcast, from the EF3 Life platform. I enjoy journeying with you. My hope is that in 2024, we have guests on the show, when we are talking to motivational speakers, when we're interviewing people, when we're sharing stories, when we're discussing high intense topics. You realize that the authenticity, the creativity, okay, having this lion type of mentality to go after it and to chase it down, to be on the hunt every single day is what it's about, because life needs to be lived to the full. You are going to breed abundance in your life, and you're going to share that beauty with other people. I believe in you. Understand that you have a unique ability to do something great with your life. And understand that if you turn up the heat, this year is going to be the best year you've ever had. You're going to have breakthrough. You're going to see increase. You're going to see prosperity, health, wealth. Good things are coming your way if you put in the work. Never forget, nobody can take that away from you. Understand that God is behind you, and realize that you have every little bit of talent that you need. You are prepared. You're equipped. You're well able. God bless you. Keep living life to the fullest. And if you want to share this podcast with a couple people, that will help the show to grow. I greatly appreciate that. Check out our website, ef3life.com, my books, The Saint Next Door, and Winning with Money, Dollars and Cents, as well as Fire Burning Within. They're all out there, free resources, many episodes of this podcast. This is now season 5 of the Life to the Fullest podcast on the EF3 Life platform. I'm your host, Dan Jason. As always, keep living life to the fullest.